evening and welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show, Tevin. I'm Larry Hinshaw. How are you?
I'm great.
People don't know Larry is the lead vocal stylist of Child's Play and maybe some solo stuff down the road we talked about. Should be awesome. So, as I was telling you earlier, we were talking earlier, there is not a ton of stuff out there on Child's Play, the history, a little bit here on Wikipedia, a little bit here, a little bit there. Almost like legends. People, I guess the first question I'm going to have for you is earlier on in history, you were the lead singer, but then obviously things changed and you weren't a singer. Why did it change? I mean, obviously the situation changed for the singers, but you were a good singer to begin with. Why were you switched out from singing in the beginning?
Okay, so I'll take you to the beginning.
Please, I don't usually do these either. I don't do a soup to nuts so people know me.
I'll do this.
But with you, I don't know this stuff. This is
I
actually
won't
I don't
do
even
this
know.
quick, but I've always wanted to be in a band, and I had the opportunity with a bunch of guys in the basement in 1981, 82, and started playing basement bands. And I moved to Essex, Maryland. I met Brian Jacobino and my first manager, Kenny Geiger, and my Brian introduced me to his band, which had Phil Weiser, our first bass player, and my drummer, Steve Albanek. So we kind of took our two bands together, and it happened really quick in 83, early 83. And it was a cool magic. And we started playing covers, and we were in the basement for about 6 months. And AC/DC seemed to be the band that really we did well with. Of course, we were doing Quiet Riot and whatever was big in '83, covering. It was pretty much a cover band. And we some of the bands in Baltimore that we looked up to. We played the big clubs. We opened up like 3 or 4 times, and then we were headliners, and it grew so fast. And then Kenny Geiger, my friend from down in Essex, had friends in Dundalk, John Allen, who's a rock star now, and Nikki, and all of them. And it came together real quick in a couple of years. So we were playing 6 nights a week up and down the East Coast, 1984 to 1988. But we were having so much fun, we weren't working on original stuff. Um, uh, but
Did you have
we
originals at the time? Did you have some
got
original stuff?
and we were writing stuff, and some of it was crappy, and some of it was good. And I don't know. Finally, we put together a 5 song. We went to Sheffield Studios in Phoenix, Maryland, which is a pretty renowned place. A lot of big bands played there, and we did like a demo tape, and we put it out called Rough House, and it had 5 songs on it. And it was good.
It's on
And
YouTube if anybody wants to hear it. And your voice is so high.
well, thank you. Yeah, my first song I wrote, Rough House, is on there, and Where Are the Kids, and Johnson and Nick wrote some songs on it, and they're on the Rat Race album. Actually, it's kind of like a
Yeah.
preview to the Rat. Well, we were kind of green, and then we just threw something out there, and I liked it, but yeah, I think I was singing too high on it. But anyway, we went on, and we were playing for a long time, and then finally got time about in '88. I was getting tired of it. I finally met my wife. Playing clubs for 7, 8 years.
Gets old.
It just moved on, and I bowed out, and eventually they got signed a couple years later. But Brian
All right.
took over singing. It was a mutual thing, and
Yeah.
we talk all the time, and we are all really good friends to this day.
I'd love to hear that because it just seemed weird that you were a singer that he wasn't, and it never seemed bad because there's no history, but it just seemed like it was weird. Like you're a good singer, and to hear your voice now, you can sing lower, so you're singing higher. But yeah, if you compare the demo of Rat Race to the final version, that's the same thing that a producer would have woodshedded you back and forth and said, "Why don't you try it here in this key?" I mean, you know what I'm saying? That could have worked out a little bit differently with a full on production assigned label.
Oh
Your
yeah,
voice probably would have he probably would have pulled your voice down a little higher to a different range.
the Rat
So
Race, the original Rat Race I sung. that was a big faux pas. Um, it was definitely done wrong. We would just listen to somebody tell us what to do. I
Right, but
sang
if you
it.
had a
It was
professional doing it, he would have made you sing lower, I think, and you do have the voice to do that. So that's why it's interesting to hear you sing now. I'm thinking Larry could have done that, so I don't understand. I hear that in your voice now, all these years later. You haven't lost it, so I was like, why was there a change at that point? You know what I mean? To me, I didn't understand that, so thanks for clearing that up. And
but
I'm sure
it,
if I
back
didn't know,
back in the day, it was like the higher you sang, the better you were.
yep,
You know, water or something. It was, and I could do it, but I always tried to get as high as I could. But yeah, looking back, I should not have done that. And I can't. And we don't even do Rat Race. We never, there was a song called Hot Seat that
yeah,
we, with Donnie Purnell from Kicks, produced it. And we went to Sheffield and did that song. And that's a whole different story. But we never played it live. It's not a bad song, but it could have been better. But
right.
it's on an album and a couple CDs. But it's like a Kick song, and that's why Donnie liked it. But we never did it live because it was just cheesy, and I was singing too high, and
Okay.
it just wasn't our style. Basically, Child's Play style is a blue collar rock and roll, streetwise sound, and you can hear that in My Bottle, My Whiskey, and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And it's cool. We still bring it today.
How come you guys don't do Rat Race?
Well, we just did it at Baltimore Soundstage last the December before,
Okay.
and we did it, and I think we pulled off. And right before, at M3 last year, at M3, we were going to do it, and we voted on it right before we went on, and I said no, let's not do it. I should have done it because I could do an extra song, but we weren't comfortable enough to do it. But if we go to M3 next year, we will do it. And we will be doing it this December at Baltimore Soundstage because we do a Christmas Chaos, we call it. It's our third year now.
Hmm.
And every December at Christmas, we'll do a Child's Play reunion show for all our friends and stuff in
Yeah.
Baltimore.
Why did you stop? Was it in your back of your mind? Did you feel like it'd be just you didn't think your voice would hit it, or do you just feel it was like a comparison, or like it just people know one thing and it's just kind of you wanted to keep it separate? Like what was keeping you from doing it?
Like recently, or yeah,
Yeah, well, yeah, just overall, was it the whole band? I mean, that was probably the one of the bigger songs,
I'll
and you
cut you
know,
because we only played it like 3 or 4 times, and we weren't that comfortable. We're I'm not perfectionist, but we wouldn't go up there and blow it. A
mhm.
person I can remember the words, even though I sang it like 100, 200 times. Um, I'm being honest with you here, but
No, it's
I had a little cheat slip, on the monitor. But right before we went on, I like to be comfortable, and plus,
all right.
especially in Merriweather, playing, it's a huge crowd. We just want to do what I feel comfortable with. So we won't go through. We will next time. I promise you that.
I'm not. Don't beat yourself over the lyrics because I mean, I'm not Judas Priest or bands like that. I don't even know if it's actually that true. If you're anywhere within 10 rows of those large bands in the arenas, have been singing those their whole life, there's teleprompters with the lyrics for a lot of bands of that
Yeah.
level. So it just happens when you're in a stage, you got a lot going on. You just can't be focusing. Sometimes it's not it. The muscle memory is kind of weird with lyrics. I think sometimes it's not the same as an instrument in your hand. You know.
Well, these days, there's a lot of cameras out there. There's,
Yes.
recorded whatever you do, and I see it, and thank God I didn't suck at any of the shows I did. We all the Hammerjacks in Baltimore. We like lived there, and all of our friends were managers and all that crap. And Guns N' Roses played there. I think it was Easy opened, but I was right there on the railing above Slash's top hat. I mean, and hardly nobody knew him, but somehow the place packed in.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, I'm not a big fan of him anymore, but that was a great show.
Beginning of the '90s when things the bottom fell out and everybody started getting wearing pants that were too big. There's still some good music there, but
You know,
you
it's
know, there was a good period of time though where there were just so many good bands that were just peaking.
watching play. We played in clubs, so we met the bands coming down.
Yeah,
Steppenwolf, we played with Molly Hatchet, Black Oak, Arkansas, um, and then we saw the bands coming up. We Poison opened up for us at the Seagull in East
yeah.
Baltimore, and
What was
um,
that? Because they were originally a Pennsylvania band too. Was that when they had the other
right,
guitar player too, early on?
that was on the band that made the album. Before that, they were
Oh,
called Paris,
yeah.
but they were a local band, and we played with White Lion before they were
Hmm.
signed a couple times, and the Kicks, we played with them forever, and they were our heroes, and they are so underrated. The Kicks are
Yes,
awesome. It's just sad that they should be like
they
so.
should have been bigger.
Yeah, and same as Rothschild, they were awesome.
Yep.
But
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
good band. Wow.
the band's coming down, you play with them, and the ones coming up, and you meet them. And the rock stars in Nazareth, they were big heroes of mine when I was 15. In Nazareth in Scotland, they were awesome. And I got to meet them. We played with them twice, and great people. And it's kind of cool. You're starstruck by some, and some you're not.
Yeah.
Phil from UFO, got to talk to him. It was just so cool because they're my heroes when I was a
Wow.
kid.
So what's awesome is with the band. So actually, with Child's Play, you guys took a break. You guys took a break to what they did. You were in with them at that point. But then when they came back, they did like a couple of reunion shows. But pretty quickly, you were kind of back with them, sort of, because you guys always were friends, right? So like, how did that? And then
No,
I did a
yeah,
quick. No.
always. Let me tell you this: these guys, we are very close, and nobody can tell you anything else. We've always have been. There's been no animosity. There's nothing. Even when I left the band, they were sad about it, and I was like, I cried about it, and I was like, hey, she's like Phil. Phil quit the band in '87, and he went on. I don't know about Phil Wise if you know anything about him, but he's the top CTO of Paramount right now. He worked for Sony. He's got a huge repertoire. He's a rock star in his own right. But we all are very good friends, and even now we're even better. We're
Yeah.
like really close. And John, I'm telling you, John is so dear to me. Yeah, I mean, we keep doing these shows. I think 2009, we were going to do a Hammerjacks reunion
Hmm.
at the Record Theater in Towson, Maryland, which is a pretty cool room. And I got Brian Jacobino and Phil and Idzy, two bass players in the band. And we did the show, and it turned out really good. We couldn't get Nick and John because they're on tour with Motley Crue. They were in the Charm City Devils at the time.
Oh, wow.
I'm so happy for them, but they were doing their thing, and I wanted to go out and sing. I love to sing, so I did this thing. I got Brian and Idzy and Phil together, and a couple other guys from Funny Money, and it was cool. And then like that was '09, and then I did a couple other shows, and then we did a '98 Rock re, retirement party for the good DJ there, a girl
Hmm.
with Kicks, Finger 11, and Steve Whiteman, and the Ravens, and the guy from Cinderella, the singer. What's his name? She's I'm so old.
Tom Kiefer.
But yeah,
Tom
Tommy,
Kiefer.
he was at him, and we just showed, and that was 2012. So after that, I've been doing Child's Play shows. After that, we've done about 10 maybe, and we done two M3 shows. We opened for the Kicks at their last show, which blew my mind because we played in front of 20,000 people, sold out.
But it
No,
should have been the law, though. I mean, honestly, the way you guys came up together in Hammer Jacks,
with that,
it would have been against the law if you guys didn't open for him. I mean, it just wouldn't have made sense.
yeah, yeah. Well, Steve, they played their Sunday at the M3. Yeah, we were. John's really good friends with Steve Whiteman. He took
Yep.
vocal lessons from him, and they're real tight. And Yeah, yeah, yes. Yeah, it makes sense.
It
Even
totally
I'm not
does.
gonna. Yeah, it makes sense.
No,
Child's Play with the Kicks
you
because
guys are local bands together, came up together. It just makes sense. It's not even an ego thing.
we play with them. We play with them like 6 or 7 times. I'm so impressed with that band.
What kicks?
Oh my God. Well, backstage to see so we're back there. This is like 1986, maybe 85. We're in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania at the Metron. We did 2 shows with them. And we're doing our thing, I'm drinking my Jack and
Mhm.
Coke, just having fun. So they go on and they get in a little circle in the dressing room, and the 5 of those guys get in a circle and they're singing Cold Shower a cappella to warm up. And me and John look at each other like, oh my God, gotta hold on tight. And we're just, that was professionalism just blown in our face. Right? You got a lot of rest. You
Mhm.
can't drink. You are. I mean, it's very hard. It's
Yeah.
hard. It's funny. I'll tell you another thing. John played drums for us, forever, and then he went out front and sang. It was cool. He got signed by Nikki Sixx and with Charm City Devils. That was
Yep.
such a cool. And he told me, he says, Larry, he goes, I didn't realize how hard it was to sing. You know, he did not. It is not easy
Yeah.
because it's hard to hear. Now in your monitors, it's a lot easier. But in a day, man, sometimes you go to some places you couldn't hear yourself. It's so loud and you're just winging it.
And the guitar player was louder because nobody was professional to each other at the time because you're young bands, so nobody was honoring each other's musical space. So you're blowing out your ears. Yeah. So that was the other thing.
Well,
It's
when you're
so
as it goes on, man. When
yeah.
I remember playing at like the first 3 reunions. It's funny. It was That's my jukebox, my pinball machine going. Um, the record theater, we had minor check, and I could hear myself as soon as we started playing. I couldn't hear any. All I could hear is my song off the back of the wall in the far end. I could hear my voice, and the same thing happened. It was funny. The first M3 show a couple years ago, we did a minor check, and soon we started playing. I couldn't hear. I could hear myself out there. Couldn't hear myself on stage, but I hear myself out there. And people don't realize that when you're singing. But then I bought some in-ear monitors, and I got, and that's a whole nother world too. You got
That's what I
to.
was gonna say. When you get those, I mean, that makes a huge difference. I
And
mean,
out when I played the Kick show was my first time I ever did in-ear monitors, and I had them too loud, and I couldn't hear anybody in the crowd. I couldn't hear the stage. All I heard was myself. Now it's kind of bizarre, but it turned out all right because I have a recording of the show, so it's all learning. And I'm 64, and I'm like learning how to do all this shit. It's funny.
well, considering you took a break and then your voice is really kind of kept up, and you didn't really do a lot of other bands besides yourself. Really got guitars. You never gave up music totally. Professionally, you only really kind of come out, with Child's Play not. So you weren't doing like all the time. So you really kept it
We're
up.
just out. We're just riding this out. I mean, our fan base is getting older all the time. I mean, it's a blessing to play them three. I mean, I'm shit to play Merriweather 3 times in a calendar year. I mean, God, I need that in my life. The biggest show I think we ever played was with Yngwie Malmsteen at L'Amour's in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
We did that back in '87. But big crowds is weird. I'd rather play for a smaller club. When you have a big crowd, it's like a sea of faces you can't see.
Hmm.
It's this big old mess. I'd rather identify with the closer crowd.
There's
I
some.
never thought I experienced that. I am so blessed. I'm telling you right now, and all you guys listening, I'm so blessed that I stopped playing in Child's Play in '88, and then 30 years later, whatever it is, I'm playing huge shows and getting to sing songs I wrote I never sang before. It is so awesome. And I write every show. I think it's the last show. And then there's another one. So there's another one this December.
Good.
And maybe in the spring. I don't know.
That's good. I mean, are you guys going to try to do more shows, or is it the schedule? Because I mean, you guys are enjoying it as you get older. I mean, you're going to try to squeak it out some more. Doing some more festivals or be a
Yeah,
little more
yeah.
active.
It's, because I mean, I'm going to tell you another thing. Cover bands are huge.
Oh yeah,
Locally, cover bands are huge, and original bands are not. It's come full circle from when we were playing, and we can only play big events, and we can't like play the bars and stuff because we're just a cover. We're just the original.
yeah.
I left the band because I met my wife at that time. You know, you get to meet a lot of girls playing in a band,
I've heard you can meet
and
a
when you
couple.
meet one that I mean, me tell you, it was a lot of girls. So it was a lot of fun. Just as many people as you imagine, as much as you imagine it happened. So I met Mary, and it's funny as shit. When we played with Poison, I walked up the side of the stage, and Brett was trying to pick up my old lady. And I walked in, I was like, "Hey, no, she's with me." So that's kind of crazy, and she's always mad about that. She's like, "You should have left me alone." But so anyway, her roommate was really close to her. I mean, close to him. But so anyway, and that was a strong reason why I left the band because I was 28, I was 29, living at home, and I met her, and she was special, and it was time to move on. So going forward, I worked. I got a job in the car business, and I did very well. It's funny because at the bar we played called Rockers in Essex, I asked the bartender, manager, I said, "So what should I do?" He said, "Go sell cars." And I just took it, and that's where I went. So I sold cars. I became a sales manager. I became a finance director of probably the largest car dealership in Maryland. And I've been there for 32 years.
Wow.
To play music for my first 30 years, do well in the business for another 30 years, and then get asked back to play sold out shows. It's fucking amazing. I mean, it is so cool to get with my old friends and Child's play 12, 15 songs of our own original stuff in front of 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 people 3 times a year.
Yeah.
This is awesome. John's been singing since the old days. Behind the kit, he would sing 3 or 4 songs every show.
Mm.
Brian would sing 3 or 4. And I would sing most of them, but I would do it just for diversity. Even Phil would sing Iron Maiden songs and Wasp songs. And
Yeah.
John could do Heaven and Hell. He did it really well. He did the Bell Tolls. We are a great cover band. I'm not gonna brag, but to ask anybody in Baltimore, we were a fucking great cover band, and we did so much deep cuts of AC/DC. We did What's Next to the Moon, and we did Little Lover. We just did stuff that nobody else did.
And,
And
having somebody for singers, that makes sense why you have a drummer singer and everybody sang. And if everybody could sing, it makes sense why you guys were a great cover band because everybody could do different voices, which just made you guys stronger, as a band.
yeah, 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 I did the Bon Scott really well. And I just let them do some. We had diversity. They want, uh, it was just we were a great cover band. I mean, my regrets are I didn't. I can write a lot of good music, and I just didn't feel like I was just too much having fun, and we were having too much fun, and that's probably a problem with a lot of bands. But you know,
But yeah,
what
but
happened?
even if you stayed, look what happened. I mean, look how, I mean, Child's Play was still doing good. And the bottom of the
Yeah,
industry fell
but
out.
how
It
about
had nothing to do with the band. It was literally the industry fell out.
it's funny. All said and done, watching these bands at M3 and meeting. There's 16 bands every show. Um, and they get in a bus and they go to another town and blah blah blah. And I'm glad I don't do that. I don't want to do that.
We'll see. It worked out good for you. You had the perfect situation for you. You had to,
Um, what
come in.
I'm doing cool to go out and sing and do it 2 or 3 times. No, it was I'll tell you what's really cool. So I got a daughter, Haley,
Hmm.
age she was born, I was 47, my wife was 40. My first and only, I don't know how it happened. Drum kit, I got a guitar, I got her keyboard, but she is not a music girl. She's a jock. She's a rock star in lacrosse and field
Yeah.
hockey, all county and all this crap, and does great club. And she's a rock star at that. And anyway, it was cool. She got to come see me play finally. And we played at Baltimore Soundstage, but it was sold out. And my wife was like blowing through the crowd, pushing people away to get her out of the way. She's going to see her daddy. And she got up on the wall. They got this barrier wall up front, and she got to see me play. And that was such an awesome moment. It was so cool. And I got it on video and stuff. And then she got to come see me at M3 at Merriweather playing in 2023. Um, and now she don't give a shit. And my wife don't care anymore because she's seen me a million times. So when I go to
Yeah.
shows now, I really enjoy talking the guy band and playing shows. And we got another one in December. And we'll probably have another one. Maybe M3 ask us back again. I don't know if they ask us 3 years in a row, but we're the local band that brings a crowd in seats. They put us in there at 1:30 in the afternoon. So I don't think it's going to happen this year. But if it does, I'm blessed. But whatever. I sing in the car. I got a karaoke drive. I sing in the car. I have my guitar in the kitchen, my acoustic setup, and
Yeah.
I'm played about 5 hours today, just singing and playing. I keep myself in shape that way, just in case something happens. I don't want to
Yeah.
suck.
In a club, and then all of a sudden in the club, it sounds different because you got bodies to absorb it. Every club sounds different. But when you said you start playing out and then coming back and playing out live, the sound's different. It just
Yeah.
goes. Like, how
Oh,
was
it's
that for you the first time
fun.
to hear that, like, be on the outside, being like, "Whoa,
I played 500, 700, I don't know how many times, but every time it's a new challenge, especially playing on a big stage.
yeah,
Um, it's not boring. It's. I'm not scared. I don't get scared out there. I'm not shell shocked, but sometimes I get lost about between songs what to say because I'm worried about what I'm singing. I'm more, worried about singing. But God, I love it so much.
that's good."
I'm so passionate about playing in that band. It is so fun. I mean, you man, you'd love to do it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think it sounds like fun. But you can see you guys on stage, though. You can see the relationship of how much fun it is for you guys, and I think that's part of the show. Where it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
And
And it's cool. I tell you, the band, the Child's Play songs are all written with real words. It's all us, and a lot of the song, every song I write is a story. It's true stories. Evicted on Rat Races about when I got evicted from my townhouse, and it really happened. And Rough House is all about East Ball. It's all about East Ball. And John songs and Nick songs and Idzy songs were very good. And on Long Way, they're all written from the heart, and they're not like "I love you," these big puffy shirt, big hair songs. We were never that band. I'm sorry we were grouped in that hair band genre, but we were always just a dirt band.
well, you were rougher sounding. You guys were not, pretty boy band. You guys were just long haired rockers. That was it. And I think if you had long hair, you got put in a group. I guess there's worse things to be compared to. You know what I mean? As far as it goes, because it's still your audience. It's the same people. It's the crossovers there. And then recently there was it like a demo released of songs you guys released?
John put out it's called
Not
Lost
a,
Tape. It was all the
yeah.
it was the ones, the ones you did for the record company and the ones that you did in the studio and some stuff you did on your own. Yeah, it's cool. It's funny because I never listened to a lot of the later stuff because Child's Play had two other singers after Brian Jacobino, and evolved past since then. It's terrible. It's like I'm doing a lot. I'm by default. I'm the only live singer. But
Put you in bubble
I
wrap.
I just listen to that stuff, and it's actually really good.
Well, that's
Some of
good.
it's like, it's kind of like as the times change, it's like Black Crowes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
90s. It's evolving, but some of it's really good. We play a lot of it live. The first out of the four songs, two of them are like from the Long Way set. I'm really impressed with it. I kind of became a fan of the Child's Play after I left.
that's good. A lot of bands don't do that. A lot of singers don't want to do the other stuff. What about recording stuff? Are we
And that
recording stuff or
is
writing new stuff as a band?
the biggest hugging, loving band there is. You won't find any shit with us. Dig deep. There's nothing.
I, I don't
We're
dig. I could
buddies.
care less.
Talk
I
to
don't
them.
like that kind of stuff. You know, I'm not a big fan of Dirt. Um, what about you guys doing other like redoing some stuff together, or like the demos, making them together, or writing new stuff? Or I mean, you guys are so talented still. You guys can all write. You can all still sing and
We
play.
could, we could, and I want to, but yeah, everybody has a big life going on. Um, Phil has a big life. Phil's in New York, and he's got a big life with a big corpus. He's got a big thing going on. And John is with Stone Horses.
Hmm.
So if you promote that band, his band is awesome. It's got our drummer that's playing with us, Jason Heiser, and Ted on guitar. They're very good. Stone Horses has 3 albums out, and
Hmm.
they've um, a lot for probably 5, 7 years. They're really good. And John's fronting that band, and he
Yeah,
spends a lot. So he's doing that, and I'm doing my thing. I'm not going to quit. I can't stop my life to go tour. I don't even want to tour. I'd like to record, but nobody's got
I'm
time
just
for it.
saying. Well, here's the thing. Riley's Guns just got together. They did before Steve Riley passed. They did their parts, but they got together for 1 week. They all got together. They learned their parts. It's in 1 week, and they recorded an entire album in a week.
That's crazy.
It's feasible. It's
I,
feasible.
you could. I mean, if you got it all written in your head, I would love. I've been trying to get them to do it, but it's not going to happen. It's just not going to. They're just we're past that. We're just doing shows, and we're just a tribute band of our own band.
Yeah, it's just your own band. You guys are just celebrating it. And it's still good. What is well? Then I guess you have to do it yourself. Then you need to do your stuff out
No, I
there.
do. I got like I said, I got PlayStation City. I'm going to do happy hours for my acoustic, and I got 300 songs done, and I enjoy that. I think I'll be honest with you, that is harder than playing in front of 20,000 people. Playing acoustic, singing, listen to yourself, knowing the words, that is very hard. So you should appreciate anybody that's doing those happy hours with backing tracks or playing acoustic. That is very hard.
Excuse me. I, I I respect anybody that's playing music at all. I mean, you gotta give them credit for trying. Um, yeah. Well, I mean, you got this original stuff. Maybe some acoustic album you should put out. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I got acoustic stuff. I wrote a song for my wife. I got lots of stuff. And when I play acoustic shows, whatever, I'll do my stuff and a lot of covers. But I'm just telling you, that is a challenging thing. And so a lot of people don't realize it. They go out to bars and they see cover bands and they see original bands, whatever. But to sit there alone, play that acoustic, sing, to remember the words, the chords, hear yourself, all that going at one time, that is hard. It's so easy to get up in front of a band. They're playing behind you. You're belting out the songs. It's loud. It's covering your mistakes. You know, that's easy.
Mhm. It
But good talking to you, man.